The Flames are selling everybody, but somebody forgot to tell the players. They just came into Tampa and steamrolled the Lightning.
Yeah, Huberdeau put on another show. Seems to really like playing against the Lightning. Coleman also likes playing against the Lightning. Scored a goal. That was a hell of a fun game to watch, especially considering, you know, Hanifin and Tanev are no longer with the team, and we're all expecting the defense to kind of crumble, and it really didn't. So, quite impressive.
No, it was impressive, and apparently Sharon Govich just likes to play. Like,
It's shocking what happens sometimes when you take a guy who was relegated to the fourth line. You're like, hey, here's some second or first line minutes for half a year, and then he's scored his 25th of the season, his 24th and 25th of the season, I believe, and that's a career high for him. And we're not even at the trade deadline, so.
Yeah, 24th and 25th goal, plus he mixed in 2 assists with it. Nice 4-point night, quietly going about his business. He's a sniper, right? And when you play with somebody like Jonathan Huberdeau, you're gonna reap the benefit of those passes and that playmaking, and he certainly is. And I mean, he's meshing well with Huberdeau, and it's nice to see.
How many years did I talk to you on the podcast or in group chat or whatever and talk about how badly we need a guy who can rip one-timers to play with Gaudreau, to play with Huberdeau, whoever it's been over the last however many years. Like, we've never really had a one-timer expert, and we've got one. And he seems to finally be coming around to playing center. I haven't looked at his face-off stats lately. I'll bring it up here in a second. Where is it?
I mean, they're not great, but
he's getting into scoring areas now with playing center, which he wasn't doing when he first started playing center for a little while there. But is what it is.
Just I mean, against Tampa, he was 10%.
Oh, that's not very good.
No, but that's fine. I mean, okay, so he wasn't great at the faceoff. He had 4 points, so we'll let it slide.
Exactly.
To get that many points when you're not actually starting with the puck is pretty impressive. His defensive game has been super strong too. He chases guys down in our zone. He's relentless on them, which is great.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning of the year, he was scoring shorthanded goals like every other game. He's a good penalty killer. He's a good defensive player, man. Only he could learn how to win some faceoffs.
That's right. That's right. Which is, I mean, you look at him, he doesn't play a super physical style of game, but he's gritty, and he doesn't back away from anybody.
Yeah. And and another thing that's really impressive about this win against the Lightning is, if you look back on the season, what was the spark that took the team from being insanely hard to watch to actually being really fun to watch? Probably Zari and Pospisil being brought up.
It seemed to, because it rejuvenated Kadri, which kind of started making things flow, and yeah, it's been kind of a domino effect, right?
Yeah, and both of them are out right now. Like Pospisil, we'll get into that in a second with the 3-game suspension, and Zari's hurt. I don't even know what happened to him, to be honest.
I don't either. It didn't. Nothing really stands out from that game.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what happened there. They're listing what is an upper body, right?
I believe so. And But it seems like Kuzmenko has found a pretty decent fit with Kadri. So
Yeah, yeah, he has.
um,
Yeah,
and
I mean, he's been
Peltier
kind
too.
of
Peltier
bounced
scored a
around.
goal today too. That was nice.
I mean, anytime you can get him on the scoreboard and get his and get him feeling good is going to be good for the Flames.
I couldn't agree more.
And Kuzmenko assisted on that with his 15th.
Also, with getting pushed into the goalie and almost causing the goal to get turned back, but not really.
Yeah, that was weird. I really, really dislike the fact that they can stall the game while they review the play on their own little iPad or their own little TVs they have in, on the bench and communicate with the replay,
Video review guys.
whatever. Right? Like it really takes away from the game. I think they need to put a cap on that of a few seconds, whether it be 15 seconds, 20 seconds.
Like I think, considering you have guys up top, like for the Flames, it's Jamie Pringle up top
Mm.
in the press box looking at it. By the time the teams change and get back to center ice and the celebration's over,
Mhm.
that's the cap for me.
That's right, 100%.
It's okay if you stop them, stop like before they drop the puck, stop them and be like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
We're challenging the play right here, right now. But
that's right.
the second they're back, play's about to start, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, agreed, 100%. Yeah, I'm sick of the way they stall that. I mean, John, he did it twice tonight, right? One with the potential offside, and then with the goalie interference.
And I don't blame him for that. I blame bad rules. It's the same as cap circumvention and stuff like that. I don't blame the teams that do it. I blame the NHL for making a stupid rule. If the Flames
Mm.
used that rule, it's a rule, so might as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't fault the team if they're playing within the rules set by the organization. There's really
Don't
nothing
hate
you
the
can
player,
say
hate
about
the
it.
game.
I knew you were going to say that, and I was hoping you wouldn't.
That's totally fair. Um, I mean, Kucherov leans right into that with the whole cap circumvention thing on his T-shirt and all that type of. I find it hilarious because it's part of the rules. If they don't want it to happen, they should change the fucking rules. Anyways,
Right. Kucherov, he's a pretty good troll.
oh, he's absolutely fantastic at trolling. It's
Mm.
he's one of my favorite players in the league because he's public enemy number one, and I find it hilarious because he leans into it so well.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't shy away from it. He seems to really enjoy that role.
Yeah, every hero needs an anti-hero, right? And,
That's right. And
yeah,
Marshawn loves the fact that it's not him anymore, right?
yeah. I mean, it still is when you anybody whose team is playing Marchand is like, fuck this guy, right? But
Yeah.
now there's guys like the Kachuk brothers and Kucherov and those types of guys out there.
Wilson still is. See that gash he took there from the high stick today?
Who's that? Sorry.
Wilson?
Oh no, I didn't. I saw he scored a nice short-handed goal, but I didn't
Mm.
see a gash from a high stick.
Yeah, I think he went off for a few stitches. Came back,
Yeah.
of course, right? That's the
Mhm.
type of player he is.
Yeah. He's another one of those guys, man. People hate on Wilson, and I'm like, and everyone's like, oh, nobody wants Wilson on his team. He can't score. He can't blah blah blah. But like,
Bullshit.
but he's such a good hockey player. He just crosses the
Yeah,
line sometimes. Like he's
exactly.
actually in like borderline elite. Like
Yeah. I have him on my fantasy for a reason. I mean, like he gets lots of penalty minutes, which is great in fantasy. He scores lots of goals. Like
he
he's
hits,
he's a really good player.
he fights. He's touches every part of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Shall we
They just
rewind
don't
a
like
bit?
it because they
Go
just
ahead.
don't like it because he plays hockey the way it used to be played.
Yeah. Well, let's rewind a bit and talk about this game against Pittsburgh. Start with the whole Kiprusoff thing. That was a really nice ceremony, I thought.
Mhm.
I wasn't able to watch it at the time because I was in New Mexico and couldn't get a good stream. But I tried. I ended up watching it on YouTube later. But I gotta
Uh,
say, I'm not a big fan of Noodles of Jamie McLennan as a insider, but that was a pretty goddamn good speech, and
yeah,
Kiprusoff's speech was good too.
yeah, and surprising that he actually really did a speech, right? You could tell. I mean, he didn't look super comfortable wearing a suit, and he wasn't super comfortable doing the speech, but he played the part and did it all, and and you could tell he was kind of soaking it up, especially by the end.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He got a little emotional there for a little bit. There was some good stories. Did you catch the after hours with Regier
Yeah,
and
yeah, I
Warner?
thought that was good. I'm still not entirely sure why Fanuff was front and center, but
Yeah, me
they
neither.
were good buddies. They were good buddies back then, right? So I mean,
Hmm.
who am I to say who should be sitting up front? I figured it'd be Robin or Rhett up there with him, but
Yeah.
I think
Either way,
they put Rhett back there because he was the only one not wearing a suit.
he looked pretty sharp in that. What was it? Some sort of hide jacket.
Yeah,
um, but I thought it was good too. The good stories there, and uh, they chirped each other, which is always fun.
yeah, it's good when you can get the old boys back together, right? Because I'm sure they were very much like that when they were playing together.
Yeah,
A lot of jokes, a lot of fun.
yeah. Well, shall we get into the actual game itself? Because that's what we're here for.
I mean, the game itself was a beauty game. I thought there's all sorts of fun stuff that happened in it, right?
Hmm.
You know, lots of lots of penalties, lots of goals, some elite saves. Like it was a good night.
Markstrom had a hell of a night.
He did, he let in the the three goals, but fairly two fairly early on and whatnot. But I mean, after the first period, he really locked it down.
I totally agree. And Sharon Govich, man,
Right?
just all
You know, there,
together, he's come up with some really big goals, and he's got 2 goals that game. Um,
yeah.
I know he's just been really impressive, and I always thought he was going to be good for us because I remember watching him in New Jersey that year that he had 24 goals and
Mhm.
being really impressed with him. But I didn't think he was going to be this good for us. You know what I mean? But he's
Yeah,
been pretty freaking
I
good.
was excited when the trade came. I was excited to see what he can do with us. But yeah, I mean, he's really gelling well with number 10. Like they see each other at all times on the ice, which is great.
Yeah, we should get into Huberto a little bit later too. Um, I want to give Kadri a little bit of credit.
That
He's
was
been
hard for you, wasn't it?
It was really hard for me. I still don't like his game. The amount of
Yeah,
times a game he pisses me off, like it's often. I don't like
yeah,
his game, but he's been scoring, he's been getting points, he's been playing fairly well. It's just
yeah,
every time he does certain things like not pass when he after he passes the blue line.
yeah.
There's certain things he does that drives me fucking batty, but he's been playing well, man. So
Yeah. Well, he's putting up the points, right? And I agree. I find him to be pretty selfish when he gets the puck on his stick. He doesn't like to use his teammates, his line mates at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know.
But
But
if
no,
you're
you're right. I mean,
scoring,
he's yeah. If he's putting the puck in the net, that's what he's getting paid to do. So who am I to fully criticize, right?
uh, speaking of a guy that you and I don't really like that much or haven't in the past,
Mhm.
um, as far as it comes to actually playing the game of hockey, Oliver Shillington. How have you felt he's played over the last 2 3 weeks?
I feel like overall he's been better in his return than he was his last season for sure. He still has minor gaps on occasion, um, but I mean, like he's fairly young. He's obviously spent quite a bit of time away from the game, so it is what it is. I've been fairly happy with him, to be honest, um, to the point where, especially given kind of where the direction of the team is right now, I would feel comfortable giving him another 2-year contract.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like, I remember you and I went to a couple of games against Dallas, game one and game two against Dallas in
Yeah,
2022, 2023. Was that the year? Yeah. When they were playing, Dallas in the playoffs.
yeah,
And I just remember watching the games from the dome, and both of us walked out of those games frustrated as fuck with Shillington,
yeah,
falling over, making gaps, sitting on his ass at the blue line while the other team is scoring because he was knocked over and not playing defense. But
yeah.
right now, he's been committed to defense. He's always had the speed, but right now
Mhm.
he's committed to defense. He's committed to getting back, and he's still actually playing, his game where he's joining the rush and he's uh, like there was a goal tonight where Coleman was in front of the net and Shillington was in front of the net too, but he's also been really good at getting back. So I've been really impressed with him. Credit where it's due, right? Like I like I like it when players show a lot of progress, and especially when the dude's been away from the game for a year and a half and comes back and better than he ever was.
I agree. I mean, he, he's he's definitely better than he was when he played last, for sure.
Hmm.
And there could be some maturity on there, and he's now got a different style of coaching, a new approach. So there's I'm sure there's all sorts of factors when it comes to him right now. He seems to be playing with more confidence too, which is great.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm happy giving him, with the coach giving him extra minutes, especially playing with Pahal, who was a waiver claim and seems to be like, I'm not gonna say he's Tanev because he's not Tanev, but if you
Right.
give him some of Tanev's minutes, if you throw him on the PK, like how long has he been on the team now? Like 2 weeks.
Yeah, about that.
I I think he's made like one play that's made me think, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Uyghur and Anderson, who I love both of them, they make several plays a game where I'm like, the fuck are you doing? Pahal, he makes basically none. Um,
Yeah.
he plays
He's just been
physical.
steady, right?
Yeah, yeah. He really is. And him and Shillington seem to have some good chemistry. So
Mhm.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, he's been kind of refreshing. I mean, that's a pretty good pickup.
Mm-hmm.
He's played 12 games for us so far. I didn't think it was that many, so it's
Me
good.
neither. But he hasn't. Every time he stood out for a good reason. Don't get me wrong, he doesn't stand out that much, but that's what you want out of your defensive
Yeah,
defenseman, right? Like
100%.
Tanev is a rare breed of player who stands out for his defensive play every shift, and you see it, right? But most defensive defensemen, you kind of look at them and if you don't
Yeah,
notice them, then they're doing good.
100%. Yeah, his stat line across the board right now for the Flames: 12 games, 1 assist, +2. Not bad for a young defender. 20 penalty minutes,
For us,
averaging 13. Yeah,
wow.
averaging 13:37 in time on ice. 12 blocks, 33 hits.
Did he get ejected from a game that I missed or something? Where did all those penalty minutes come from?
Well, he's had a fight.
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't remember him getting a misconduct though.
No, me neither.
Hockey games move fast. But with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can bet $5 and get 200 in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with code THPN. New customers bet just $5 on the NHL and get 200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved.
Speaking
I
of
mean,
misconduct, let's talk about Pospisil for a bit.
speaking of misconducts, nice segue.
Yeah. Um, so a couple games ago, everybody saw the play. Pretty sure anybody watching us saw the play. Pospisil took a big run at Vince Dunn, who was, to be fair, Vince Dunn was making himself very vulnerable.
Mhm.
But Pospisil was going full speed, made absolutely no attempt to slow down, ran him from behind, right in the numbers, and got 5 in the game and ended up getting 3 games for it.
Yeah.
That's his second misconduct of the season. And honestly, if that, like anybody who's upset about that, to me, if that happened to your player, if you were a Seattle fan, you'd be livid because that was a bad fucking play, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So well deserved. Hopefully, he learns a lesson there. What do you think?
I mean, it is what it is. I knew he was going to get some time because I know the league's trying to, crack down on that sort of stuff on occasion when they feel like it. They're
That's the
not
problem with
exactly,
it is it's only on occasion. Anyways, keep going.
yeah. The only thing they're consistent about is the inconsistency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I have less of an issue with it than you do. Obviously, we definitely have different takes on plays like that. I understand why he got the games. I just don't. I feel like there needs to be more onus on the person being hit as well. I think there needs to be something that he pushes himself away from the boards and ends up being a foot and a half to 2 feet away from the boards when Pospisil comes in. If he's still up against the boards, none of that happens.
No, it would have been probably a 5-minute charging penalty.
Well, he didn't get charging, right? So you can't just make it a different penalty.
No, but it would have been a charging, like he didn't slow
Why?
down and he was going full bore.
But that doesn't mean charging.
Or hitting from behind or whatever. Like there was many things wrong with that.
I don't think he would have got a penalty if Dunn was up against the boards.
You don't?
No, I do not.
Any penalty at all. That's crazy to me, but I definitely think he would have got a 2 or a 5, but I don't think he would have gotten a game or a suspension if Dunn hadn't made himself vulnerable like that. Lots of players do that. Like Patrick Laine does that 100%. Shit all the time, and he just knocks himself. Jack Hughes does it and gets a concussion every year. Like it's
Well, and that's what I'm saying, right? There's guys that do it on purpose, right? They do it to draw a penalty. They put themselves, at risk. And I don't like it. I honestly don't think he would have got a penalty because all that would have happened is he would have hit him. They would have went up against the boards and they would have moved on.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But
maybe
so you don't think it should have been a couple games, or?
In my opinion, I don't, but I understand why he got it.
No. Did Dunn end up missing any games that you know of?
I don't think so. I mean, that was just a couple days ago, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know either. I've been basically traveling for the last 2 days, so
he didn't really miss any time that game. I don't think.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so either.
So I can't see him missing any other time. I just think when player safety is looking at plays like that, they need to take into account those types of situations, what the player is doing and putting themselves, in that situation. But I didn't see it being a 3 game.
I don't know how they can do that. Like I do agree with you. I just can't think of a way they can do that, because if you start giving or not giving guys penalties for purpose, like for making a dangerous play like that, just because the other guy was in a dangerous spot, like, do you give the other guy a penalty too? Is that what you're saying? Would you give like Pospisil hitting from behind and done embellishment or not embellishment, but like a new penalty? Or
yeah, I don't think that there needs to be another penalty for the guy receiving, but I think when it comes to the supplementary discipline, that needs to play more of a factor.
So maybe still call a penalty on the ice, but not give any discipline if the guys.
Yeah, I didn't see. Yeah, like I mean, given how new he is to the league and all that fun stuff with Pops, I didn't think that was warranting 3 games for a first time being up against the board.
Yeah, fair enough.
But like I said, right? I mean, they're very inconsistent. It doesn't surprise me he got 3 games. It wouldn't have surprised me if he got 1, and it wouldn't have surprised me if he got none.
It's so weird because you look at the beginning of the season, Anderson got a penalty, and I think it was 3 games or 4. It was 4 games.
Yeah, and in my eyes, that was way worse.
And that was bad. Opinion. And then, like a few days later, the same thing happened in another game, and that guy got 4 games as well, or 3 games, or something like that. I'm a little fuzzy on the details here, but I remember getting into an argument with somebody about it and being like, "Well, at least they're being consistent." And then it happened again, like a week later, and the guy got none. It was like, well, Make up your
Yeah.
fucking mind, then.
Exactly.
Like,
It is.
yeah.
Like it needs to be spelled out better, in my opinion. Like the up, the discretion of the league just isn't cutting it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a different discretion for different teams and different players, and
We can agree with on that.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah, that was a good little sidebar. Yeah, that was a hell of a game against Pittsburgh.
You know what? Can we just say how cool it is that beginning of the night they raised 34 to the Raptors, and then the Flames go ahead and win 3-4.
Yeah, that was a neat little thing, and I also
Yeah.
thought like you could see is the Flames kind of did not play very well to start that game at all. In fact, they
No.
were kind of garbage, and they went down 3-1 to start the third period. And honestly, like they played pretty well in the second period, but they kind of ran the Penguins show for the third
Yeah.
period and came back. And you could tell, like, to start the game, the crew in the press box with Kiprusoff and all of his buddies were having fun, but they were also like, ah, shit. But the team made that comeback for them. Like, obviously, it wasn't for them, but they made that comeback for them, and it was good. It was fun to watch, and those guys all had fun with it. So,
Yeah, exactly. When Carter scored at the beginning of the third, it's like, shit, here we go, right?
yeah.
And then, because that was pretty early on, like 2.5 minutes in. But yeah, the from that point on, the Flames pretty much took control.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it was good. It was good. It was good to see. I like the when Sharon Govich scored the goal and they cut to the box there with Kipper and Rhett and yeah. And they're almost like rolling their eyes at how good that was, right?
Yeah. Oh, and they looked at Conroy. They really like to get shots of Conroy saying "wow."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least he says something, right? Like Brad would just sit there looking dumbfounded, whether we're winning or losing or great play or not great play. He had the same blank stare on his face.
Yeah. Well, moving on, I guess, to the Seattle game. We've already talked about it a little bit just because Pospisil, that was the game the Pospisil hit was in. But I actually thought we played a lot better that game than we did against the Penguins. And Kuzmenko showed up. He got a little promotion there because of Zari's injury, and he's got like we've got a couple guys finally who have a little bit of chemistry with Huberdeau, and Huberdeau has looked fantastic lately, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's on a 14-game point streak now, or 13-game point streak.
I didn't even know that, but sure. It wouldn't surprise me because he's
actually
been...
that might not be true. I think it's like 14 points in 13 games. I think it maybe is what that is.
Yeah, it's something like that. That sounds more like it. But
yeah,
I think he's been seeing the ice a lot better. I think that playing with guys like Sharon Govich and Kuzmenko, who bring a little bit of that happy energy, and trading Lindholm for some reason seemed to really spur Huberdeau as well. Tonight against whoever the fuck it was we played tonight, I'm losing it, but
Tampa.
Against Tampa, Huberdeau was all over the ice. He made so many good passes. Leading to goals, leading to good opportunities, and he's also shooting the puck every once in a while, which is nice to see. He's showing emotion on the bench. It's just good to see.
He's having a good time playing
to do 115. 115 points, but
No.
if he can do this for 3 or 4 years, since the calendar turned to January, if he can emulate that for the next 3, 4, 5 years, then this contract won't be a fucking failure.
Well, exactly. We don't need 115, but we just want to make sure we can get that point per game Huberdeau that's made a career out of it in the last 7 or 8 years, right? Minus last year, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he looks like he's having fun playing the game again. It took a while. It took a lot longer than it should have, obviously. Everybody knows it. He knows it. Is what it is.
And we're
And he's
not
not going
sweeping that
anywhere.
under the
So,
rug either.
no, not at all. But
It wasn't
when
fun to
he's
watch.
on and he's having a good time, he's a damn good hockey player, right? He's
He really
really
is.
good. Got another, and there's another two assists again tonight, and yeah, just keep it rolling.
Absolutely. One last thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know what else you've got on the docket for tonight, but I wanted to talk about Coronado a little bit. Actually, we should probably talk about Hunt a little bit as well, but I wanted to talk about Coronado a little bit. How have you seen his game? I think he's only played 2 games since he's been back up, but
Meh. I haven't been super impressed with his game, to be honest. He's looking better defensively. He seems
he
to
made a
have
couple
lost
nice
his
defensive
spark.
plays.
Yeah, he seems to have lost his spark offensively, but I mean he's not getting minutes and he's not playing often, so I understand why that's the case.
I don't think he's an AHL level player anymore. I think he's an NHL level player.
Yeah.
In his head, like his hockey IQ and his skill is NHL level. His speed is NHL level. His strength is not. I think in the first 2 periods, every time I saw Coronado touch the puck, he got muscled off like instantly. And it's been frustrating me because it's been happening all like every time he's come up. I think that he needs an NHL off season where he's putting on muscle, where he's working out with NHL level players. Maybe he's got Doug Gilmore or somebody like that training
Get him
him.
with Roberts. Get him with
Roberts, whoever, right? Whoever it is, somebody training him to become NHL strength.
Yeah, he's pretty much become our new version of Dubé, right?
I don't want to say that because Dubé had many years to figure it out, and this is still Coronado's first
Yeah,
season,
no, for
right?
sure.
So I'm not writing him off. Right?
No, but as far as having some talent, having reasonable vision, being able to shoot, having decent speed, but easily muscled. That's what I mean. Like I'm certainly not actually fully comparing him to Dubé.
Yeah.
But
No, I can get on board with that. I see what you mean. I don't think he's got the speed Dubé had, but he had he's got, and I think he's a smarter hockey player than Dubé was.
Yeah.
And he's got a much better shot, but I mean, he hasn't been able to use it because teams have figured out that every time he touches the puck, if you just get close to him and nudge him slightly, he falls over, which is honestly slightly better than Mangiapane, but
yeah. Yeah. Well, as long as he doesn't make a career out of, letting the blade die on his stick, then he'll do better than Mangiapane.
Yeah, hopefully he puts on some muscle. Again, I think he's going to be a perfectly fine second line scorer, probably kind of like a Kessel type player for most of his career. His career is just starting. There's a lot of pressure put on him from the fan base because everybody thinks he's the next fucking, I don't know, Mike Camilleri or something who's just going to score all the time. Like I don't see it yet, but it's going to come. At least part of it's going to come, and just give it a couple of years.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. I think you'll get there, but you're right. I mean, he's not quite there yet. He has the individual tools, the individual pieces. They're just not a complete package yet.
Yeah. You wanted to bring up Hunt too, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, though he's quietly been really solid.
Yeah.
He's been steady. I think he's played a few games now. He seems to be just he's playing well. Like I've been actually pleasantly surprised with him.
So he's got 3 points in 12 games. He's been playing with Huberdeau and Kuzmenko, or Huberdeau and Huberdeau and Kuzmenko and Sharangovich. Kind of the lines have been rolling over a little bit since he's started playing with Huberdeau, but he's basically played with Huberdeau for most of that time. And I thought he's been playing pretty good, man. Like the 3 points, whatever, like he's not there for points, but he seems to feed off of and be able to help Huberdeau and whoever Huberdeau's playing with get the puck up the ice. And he took a really nice pass. Was that in the Pittsburgh game? I think that was in the Pittsburgh game where Huberdeau was behind the net and passed the puck through like 5 or 6 players, and Hunt was like up by the blue line and he was just sneaking in, and you could have easily seen Huberdeau try to pass to, I don't know, 2 or 3 other Flames and get it through to them and get a nice shot, but he got it all the way through to Hunt, and Hunt had all the time and space and made it count, right? Beautiful snipe.
He had a beautiful pass to Dewar tonight against Tampa as well. He's just he's actually surprised me. I knew he's got some good vision and whatnot, but his time thus far leading up until this call up, I haven't been super impressed with him. But since he's been called up this time, I'm really impressed with his game. He really is making a case to to continue to be playing for the Flames. So
yeah,
I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the kid.
Now I'm not sure if playing with Huberdeau, Sharangovich, Kuzmenko, if that is the spot for him. I think he's more of a fourth line center type guy, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the guy grew up in Cranbrook. I'm pretty sure he grew up a Flames fan. I think I remember seeing a feature about that the year he got signed to us or got traded to us for Zahorna, I believe. And I don't know. I've been fairly impressed. I'm not going to sit here and say he's the next big thing or anything like that. He's just perfectly serviceable bottom 6 player, and there's nothing wrong with
that. Yeah, and I always, and I do it as well. I mean, people forget that he is 28 years old too, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's been around a while. He has a hard time, or has had a hard time cracking the NHL lineup for every team he's been with. But no, I mean, if he continues doing what he's doing, I'm more than comfortable keeping him on the the bottom 6 for for a while.
I mean, he played 76 games for the Rangers a couple years back.
Did he?
But that's the only year he's played more than 31, and he's been playing since 2017. So he's been an NHL player since 2017.
Yeah.
So that's the only time he's played more than 31 games, but he did play 76 that and got 17 points.
Yeah, it's not bad actually.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the point production would need to be better in 76 games, but if he's playing a bottom six role, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I've been liking him so far, so keep it up.
yeah. I mean, it's impressive. It's not nothing special, but it's impressive. It's kind of like Pahal, in
Mhm.
in forward form, a guy who's never really been given. Well, I mean, Hunt's been given more of a chance than Pahal has, but a guy who's kind of been stuck at the bottom of the lineups and in the AHL, and some of those guys just need a bit of a chance to be able to prove that they are more than just that.
Yeah.
Now, both of these guys on a Stanley Cup caliber team are 14th forwards, 13th, 14th forwards, 7th, 8th defensemen. But Pahal could
mean,
probably be a 6th, but
yeah, I was gonna say I think Paul would be 6, 7. If you're in a game where you want some toughness and wanting to set an example, I think he would be pretty good at it.
mhm.
And you know me, I really like stay at home defensive. Like that's just
I do too.
how I like that. So I think he's more useful likely on a good team than Hunt would be. But yeah, no, it's been he's been good. I've enjoyed watching Hunt this last stint in a couple of games that he's played. I think he's played like 4 games or 5 games or something like that.
Yeah, I think he's played more. He's played 12 this year, but
He has, but he's been up twice, I think.
yeah. Um, let's just end it off with this. I wanted to talk about this a little bit. How do you feel about the team's performance lately? Because they went on that little streak,
Mhm.
and then they lost one, and now they won one again. So I know you and I are on the same page when it comes to wanting to draft high, wanting to get a good draft pick, all that type of stuff. But
Mhm.
it's exciting. I was happy that we won the Kiprusoff game, but
Yeah.
what do you think?
I'm happy that the players appear to be having fun again. The room seems to be way better than it was even to
Lighter.
start the season. Much later. Yeah, less tense, right? They're looser, they're enjoying it. You got guys like Kuzmenko who's just always smiling and whatnot. He's had a couple of games where you could tell he's been frustrated, but and then you have Peltier who's he's got that uplifting attitude about him, and it's just bringing it to everybody. Everybody's smiling, everybody's happy. Obviously, that comes part and parcel with winning games. I get that, but
Mm.
I don't feel like they'd be winning games without that starting off and having that good feeling to go with. They've played really well together lately. They've won a lot of games. Obviously, they're still not in a position to. I don't think they're in a position to make a wild card. They even they won 5 in a row and lost ground, which
That's
is
crazy, eh?
isn't it crazy? Just because there's the power of the schedule, right? You have you have 2-3 games or 2-3 nights off without a game, and you lose ground.
Yeah.
But
That just
I
kind
think
of tells you
I,
where they are as a team, right? Like they can go on a decent run and still be well out of the playoffs. So
yeah,
it's a
exactly,
fun
and
thing to
that's
watch, but it's not realistic.
well, and that's what happens when you start the season like shit, right?
Yeah.
Everybody talks about how important those the last 2-3 weeks of the season are for picking up those points, but nobody ever talks about how important the first 2-3 weeks are. They're all important.
Yeah.
Right? You can't have a month off. This is the NHL. It's the best of the best, and you have to have a full season, or you're not going to be playing the extra games.
I agree. No, it's always kind of funny to me how people say that, right? Apparently the games later in the season are more important than the games earlier in the season, but like they're all worth the same amount of points. So
Well, that's right. Yeah, when there's 2-3 weeks left, everybody's talking about 4-point games. All of a sudden, there's only 4-point games when there's only a couple of weeks left. But there's 4-point games at the beginning too, right? So that's. I think one thing I'll say about this club right now, they're they have a winning culture, a winning attitude, and I think
mentality.
that's going to help. Yeah, winning mentality, and I think that's going to help them moving forward with with this retool or rebuild, whatever they're going to call it, whatever they're doing. I think it'll help it, and I think it'll force them to become competitive quicker than if they went in with a shitty attitude.
I'm gonna put this winning culture thing on mainly two guys, maybe three. And it's funny because I've got an alternate captain hanging up here, and I've got a captain hanging up here, and I'm wearing an alternate captain, but I'm putting it on Coleman and Markstrom mostly. As far as the attitude and the mojo goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's another thing we haven't been talking about Marks from the last few games either, but I mean he's been pretty damn good this year.
Did that hurt
Yeah.
to say?
No.
No.
I'll give him credit when he's playing good.
Yeah. That's just it. It's just one good year, one bad year, one good year, one bad year.
That's right.
And talking about Markstrom, I know there's been lots of trade rumors. The trade deadline is tomorrow. This probably comes out sometime tomorrow. But we're not going to talk about the trades that have happened right now. We're going to do a trade deadline wrap up episode in the next couple days here, probably on Monday, I think, right?
Yeah, I record Monday, so we'll probably have it up Tuesday morning for everybody to tune in then.
Yeah. And then I think we're going to do a live show after Thursday's game. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
It's been a hell of a run the Flames have gone on. What is it, like 7 of the last 8 games they've won or something like that?
Yeah, it might even be 10 of the last 11. Like they've done. No, that's not right either. Yeah, I don't know, but it's been fun to watch. They're getting back to basics. They're winning games. They're playing as a team. The culture is good, even as they're ripping key players out of the room. They haven't skipped a beat. We just got rid of 2 of our top 4 defensemen, and you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell tonight against Tampa.
It's
That's impressive.
we've won 7 of the last 8.
So it is nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and haven't gained any ground, but is
Right.
what it is.
Yeah.
make sure you send us a like, send us let us know how you feel about the show. Follow us on X at armchairgm_pod. Check us out on Reddit. I'm all over the Flames subreddit all the time, and follow our YouTube and our Facebook. Yeah,
Yeah.
go Flames, go!
Go Flames, go! Cheers.